What is going on today, guys? AU here, and today we are bringing you our GBF. I think it stands for Global Battle Federation. I'll have to double check that. But we're bringing you our GBF draft analysis, and it is season 1. Basically, this is a draft league that I kind of joined on the fly. They posted I guess you'd call it like an ad, in one of the plug channels on one of my other draft league discords. So I hopped in. It was a National Dex Draft League, so yeah, I just hopped in it because I kind of wanted to play some more Nat Dex since NSL is coming to an end. Tomorrow we have our playoffs week 1, and I will say I actually played that game earlier today. It is very close. I was very nervous, but yeah, it was a lot closer than what I wanted it to be. So definitely check out that tomorrow. That is going to be a good battle for you to watch. But like I said, we are coming to an end on our NSL Draft League season. If we win in the video tomorrow, we at least have one more week. We could have the potential of having 2 more weeks if we make it all the way to the finals, but you'll have to watch that video to find out if we won. And I do want to say, if you are new here, subscribe, because I'm putting out Pokemon videos like this every single day. It's going to be for the next, like I said, if I win this draft league tomorrow, then for the next couple weeks there's going to be 2 draft leagues going up per week, and after that NSL is taking like a 10-week break, and we're coming back with the DLC. So we'll be doing Nat Dex DLC, which is kind of why I'm practicing a little bit of Nat Dex right now. I am in one Nat Dex league that is not on YouTube, that I'm using a rain team with like Politoed and Swampert and Mega Swampert and all that, so that's really fun. But this team I drafted for this Nat Dex league, I think is got a lot of potential. I got some help from some people in a Discord group chat. I will be letting you know who they are at the end of the video, or throughout the video. I'm sure their names will come up, but they helped me with the draft, kind of helped me brainstorm some things I wanted to draft. And I will say, when I first started the draft, I was not happy with what I had planned to pick out. I felt like there were still some holes, and we got those fixed up, and I think our draft is looking really scary. So like I said, if you are new here, subscribe and hit the like button. That's what's going to help me out the most. A lot of my videos are kind of not doing so well right now, just because I feel like I've kind of lost that engagement with you guys. But yeah, definitely hit the like button and let me know in the comments what you think about this draft, how scary you think it is, or if it's inspired you to use something of your own in Draft League. Draft League is really fun. Kind of the funnest thing I've been doing right now. It's been making me be more creative with what I do in the battles. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this, and there are going to be timestamps. So definitely check out the description if you just want to jump between rounds and see what I picked. There are going to be timestamps, so definitely check those out. So for round 1, hopefully all these hotkeys work. But for round 1, I picked up Mega Charizard, and the way that this draft league was set up, we had 110 points, we had 11 Pokemon, and there were Pokemon ranging from 20 points per Pokemon to, I think it was 2 or maybe even 1. I think the lowest was 2 points per Pokemon though. So it was way different than what I was used to doing in my other 2 draft leagues. We had tier systems. The NSL, we got 1 Gigantamax Pokemon, 1 S tier, 1 A tier, 3 B tiers, 4 C tiers. That was really straightforward to me, and I understood it completely. I didn't really have a hard time planning things out. In my other draft league, we had tiers 1 through 5. You got 1 tier 1, 1 tier 2, 1 tier 3, 1 tier 4, 1 tier 5, and then you got a Mega, and then you had 4 free slots. So that one was also pretty straightforward to me. You had 400 points to spend on your 4 free slots, and you got or lost points depending on what Mega you chose. So that one was pretty straightforward to me too. But this one I was having the hardest time. Planning it out, because all the good dragons and fairies were like 14 plus points, and when you have 110 points for 11 Pokemon and you already have to spend 14 or 15 or 16 on one Pokemon, it really hurts your lower tier picks that you have to pick. So you have to pick really smart. I felt the need to plan this one out. I didn't really plan out my other 2. I had ideas, but I didn't like sit there and plan it out. But this one I really felt the need to plan it out, just because of how that tier system worked. But we started off with Mega Charizard, and you'll understand this pick more when I go into my next pick. But Mega Charizard is probably my favorite Mega. Mega Charizard X, that is my favorite Mega. I love the Dragon Fire typing. I love that He's not weak to ice types. He's not weak to fairy types. Now he is weak to rock and ground types and dragon types. But we can deal with that. And Mega Charizard, Dragon Dancing Mega Charizard is just insane. It gets Tough Claws, so any contact move gets boosted too. Like, its output is insane. It's based 100 speed, so a good speed tier. Overall, just a really, really solid Pokemon. It feels a fire type Pokemon and a dragon type Pokemon at the same time, and it's not turn 1 Mega. So if I want to be immune to ground types, I don't have to Mega, but I do have to be holding my Mega Stone, which means Stealth Rocks for this team, or for Charizard in particular, is gonna be devastating because I can't hold heavy duty boots. So that means if I switch in on Stealth Rocks, I'm automatically taking 50%. So we kind of had to make up for that with some later picks. But like I said, Mega Charizard is definitely a force to be reckoned with, something they definitely have to prepare for. And we did have to spend 17 points on it, so it was a very, very high point-based Pokemon. I don't know if I agree that it's 17 points, especially when 20 points was the max. I feel like it's more of a 15 or 16 point Pokemon, and every point in this kind of draft really counted towards the Pokemon that you could get towards the end. So yeah, that's kind of the thought process there. But we did get our Mega Charizard X, and for round 2, we picked up Grimmsnarl. And this is why I think Mega Charizard is going to be super scary. We are feeling a Dark type and a Fairy type with this pick. Grimmsnarl is really, honestly, a really good offensive Dark type. You get Prankster Bulk Up, Prankster T-Wave. It really just hurts the other team. Sucker Punch is insane. Spirit Break does insane damage, especially after some bulk ups. You can Prankster Sub. It's insane. So my thought process behind Grimmsnarl though was not really any of those. It was actually more so, let me set up screens and let my Charizard Dragon Dance behind screens and sweep your team. I feel like Mega Charizard behind screens with Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw, Flare Blitz, and then coverage move is insane. It's gonna wreck some teams, and it's gonna steamroll through some teams if people don't prepare for it. So that was kind of my thought process behind Grimmsnarl. Also fills that Fairy role for a Fairy Dragon Steel Core, and like I said, offensive Dark types are just really good right now, especially. Sucker Punch is going to take care of things like Dragapult, Gengar, all those things, Alakazam. So, and Mega Alakazam went turn 1, so grabbing Grimmsnarl was really, really good. So for round 3, we picked up Empoleon, and I've noticed with all my drafts, it seems like I really like picking, like my favorite Pokemon that I pick is always the water types. Gmax Lapras has been the MVP of our team in our NSL series. Like I said, my other draft league is a rain team where I'm using Politoed and Mega Swampert. And now this team, I was really excited to pick up Empoleon. And I actually was watching like old GBA seasons, old NPA seasons of like A-Drive and all them, and I saw Empoleon and I was like, wait, Empoleon has got really good utility. It gets Defog, it also gets Stealth Rocks. It gets Scald, and it's just overall, it gets really bulky. It's got good typing. It can switch in on steel types almost every single time. It has to watch out for Earthquake and fighting type moves, but we'll be able to get around that with like some of our later picks. But yeah, Empoleon is just overall like probably one of my favorite picks of this whole draft. I feel like I'm gonna have some fun coming up with some different Empoleon sets, and it can be offensive if it wants to. It does get it gets Defiant, so if there's like an Intimidate user and I'm running Defiant and I get that attack boost, then we're sitting in a really good spot with Empoleon. So maybe some mixed sets out of Empoleon are coming. You just have to watch out for them. So round 4, we picked up Gliscor, which is another really cool pick that I was excited to get. It gets Toxic Heal, or I think that's what it's called. So you give it a Toxic Orb, or whenever it's poisoned, it heals back the HP rather than getting damage from it. And that makes Gliscor like so bulky. Like, it's not really bulky, but like when you're getting that much health back every single turn, it has the illusion that Gliscor is so bulky, and it gives us Stab, Earthquake, Acrobatics if we want to run something like Toxic Orb Fling, and get rid of our item and then run Acrobatics. That's really good. It also gets Stealth Rock and Defog too, so you can see with these next 2 picks, I was kind of trying to make sure that I had a lot of options that things like Stealth Rock and Sticky Web stay off my side of the field, because once Mega Charizard Mega Evolves, it's also affected by Sticky Webs, which is horrible. So I really wanted to make sure that we're not going to have any kind of hazards on our side of the field, because Mega Charizard sweeps are very likely every week, as long as we don't get hindered by Sticky Webs or by Stealth Rocks. So that's kind of another reason I got Gliscor, and I really wanted that stab ground type. I was thinking about picking up Crocodile, but that just made my team way too weak to fighting types and way too weak to bug types. So I didn't pick it up. I went for Gliscor instead, and it was 14 points. Again, a little bit pricey, I think, but overall it worked out, and Gliscor is going to be great. I'm really excited to use Gliscor. Gen 4, I've got 2 Gen 4 Pokemon. That is my favorite gen, so that's really cool too. And for round 5, we have Alakazam. Now this is a pick that I was not actually planning on picking, but we are allowed to run Nasty Plot Alakazam, and like I said, setting up behind screens is deadly, and Alakazam is a force to be reckoned with. Like I said, Mega Alakazam went pick 1. It was the first pick, since we can use Nasty Plot. But Alakazam at 13 points with Nasty Plot, I think was a really good value pick. I think it probably should have been about 15, maybe 14. It is a little bit frail, but it's super fast. It gave me a Pokemon that was like, I think it's 120 base speed. I really tried to cover all my speed tiers. I had some help from a guy named KJ. He's really good at knowing speed tiers that you need during your draft, which is something I didn't think about in my other 2 drafts, but whenever you point it out, it's actually really good thing to think about. So he kind of helped me out here, and I had Uxie, but I wasn't happy with Uxie. I was like, I needed more offense with Uxie, and a couple of my other picks that I had planned out, I was way too defensive, especially for my playstyle. If you watch my NSL Draft League at all, or any kind of VGC or singles video that I put up, I feel like my playstyle is like not really, it's like between balance and hyper offense. I like having my switch ins, but I'm probably only gonna have like 1, maybe 2 Pokemon on my team that are actually bulky. The rest of my Pokemon are going to be offensive, and they're going to be able to deal hits and pivot around, get me position, and do what I need them to do. And Alakazam does get teleport. I might not use it because, like I said, Alakazam is very frail. But if I think that they're going to switch out, like hard switch, I can teleport and get the momentum that way. Because most of the time, Alakazam is going to be switching before another Pokemon. So we'll just have to see if I ever use that. But yeah, so it gave me a Pokemon that was 120 base speed. My team overall before this pick was kind of slow. Like we have base 100, base 60, base 60, base 95, I think Gliscor is, and then base 120. So we really are putting that speed tier up for people to have to outspeed us. And if they want to run like Houndoom or Ghost type to deal with Alakazam, they have to Scarf it, or else they're not going to be able to deal with it the way they need to. Now for round 6, we did pick up Shaman. This is another really cool pick that I was really excited about. Another Gen 4 Pokemon, and before Shaman, I kind of had it in my mind that I wanted to try to use some kind of mythical Pokemon and see what I could do with it. And I wanted to try to use Manaphy, but like I said, with the way this point system was laid out, the Pokemon that I needed to pair Manaphy with were just way too expensive, and I wasn't gonna have enough points to get good lower tiers. So I dropped Manaphy. That might be something I do for NSL Season 2. I really want to use Manaphy. Tuglo Manaphy just seems broken to me, but like I said, for this type of draft, I just was not able to do it. So we picked up Shaman. It's base 100 all across its stats. So it can be bulky, it can be offensive. Leech Seed, max defense, max HP is annoying to deal with. Seed Flare is an amazing move. It can be scarfed. A lot of people like to scarf Shaman. I just think overall Shaman's a really good all-around Pokemon. It offers some bulk if I need it. It offers some offense if I need it. Pure grass types I've been liking. In NSL I'm using Leafeon, and I've been liking Leafeon as a pure grass type. In my other draft league I use Go-Goat, which is another pure grass type. To me, pure grass types are just really good. You only have to worry about flying, fire, and bug, so they resist ground and water types, so that's really good. That finishes up right there. You actually saw my first 3 picks finished up my fantasy core, and this finally finishes up my elemental core of fire, water, and grass between Mega Charizard and Polion and Shaman. Shaman was 12 points, which I think is fair. So yeah, that's basically my thought process behind Shaman. We'll see what kind of sets I can come up with Shaman. I'm gonna try to have some fun with Shaman and see what we can do. But for round 7, we got Galvantula, and this was the very last Pokemon that I really wanted. After I got these 7 Pokemon, I was like, okay, I'm set, because these are probably, out of these 7, I'm gonna probably be bringing a combination of 6 of these every single week. I feel like Galvantula really adds some great support with Sticky Webs and Volt Switch, and Compound Eyes Thunder is just insane. Compound Eyes Thunder is really annoying to deal with, but yeah, Sticky Webs, like I said, it's going to help more with the Charizard sweeps, it's going to help more with the Alakazam sweeps, but Charizard mainly my focus was D-Dance Charizard. If I can get that attack boost, and they're constantly coming in and getting a minus speed, even if they're scarfed, we don't have to worry about it. So Sticky Webs just is really good. It's a good offensive pivot. It's a good lead, Focus Sash lead. So yeah, Galvantula just added a lot of utility that I think the team needed. It also added a 109 base speed, which hits a different speed tier than anything I've had so far. So yeah, it's just gonna be really good overall. And having a bug type, it sounds weird to say, but having a bug type in Draft League is actually really important, I think, because a lot of people tend to overlook bug types, so they'll have this big bug type weakness in their team, and you can exploit it if you have a bug type on your team, which a lot of people don't end up doing. So having that bug type on your team is really beneficial. For round 8, we picked up Girder again. Girder at 5 points to me was a steal. I feel like Girder's like a 7 or 8 point Pokemon. But yeah, they had it at 5 points, and I knew that once we started drafting lower tiers, I wanted to grab Girder. So we get through round 7, and that's basically everybody had drafted their top tiers, and it got to me, and Girder was still there, so I grabbed it first, way before any of my other lower tiers. Eviolite Girder has been really good to me in NSL. It has done its job every single game. It never fails to do what it needs to do. It eats hits, it gets drain punch damage. It's also a status sponge, which means I can come in on a Will-O-Wisp, I can come in on a Thunder Wave, on a Toxic Spikes and defog them away. Girder just overall, really, especially since I have physical Charizard, physical Gliscor, physical Grimmsnarl, things like that, like having that burn sponge is really good to have. And like I said, I am using Girder in NSL, so it's going to be a Pokemon that you've seen before, but it was just too valuable for me to pass up, so I grabbed it again. And we're going to see what we can do with Girder in this league. It gets knockoff now. I am going to be able to run knockoff since it's post DLC, and yeah, it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. So for round 9, we picked up Haunter, and this is where my draft was kind of starting to look a little bit weak. I eventually was going to use, who was I going to use? It was a different, I was going to use Spiritomb and Crobat. Yeah, that's what it was. I was going to use Spiritomb and Crobat, because Eviolite Crobat is actually really bulky, and like with Toxic Roost, it gets defogged, U-turn. Like, it's a great Pokemon, but I already had a flying type in Gliscor. Charizard is technically a flying type when it comes in, and I didn't want a third flying type. It made me kind of weak to rock, actually really weak to rock. It made me weak to ice, and I didn't want it. So I changed Crobat and Spiritomb to Haunter, and then you'll see my next pick after that. But this gives me a poison type with Levitate, so I don't have to worry about ground types. So now there's only going to be 3 Pokemon on my team that are weak to ground types, counting Charizard, I think. Yeah, counting Charizard after he Mega Evolves. So Haunter gave me a Levitator. Its special attack is really good. I think it's base 115, and then it's base 105 speed, if I remember correctly, and only 3 points. So like, it's kind of like Gengar, just a little bit slower and a little bit weaker, but still really strong. It also gets things like Focus Sash, Destiny Bond, and Shadow Sneak, and all that good stuff. So like, overall, I think Haunter at 3 points was just a really good value pick for me. So for round 10, we got Lycanroc Midnight, and this was my substitute for Spiritomb. So I subbed Crobat for Haunter, and then I subbed Lycanroc Midnight for Spiritomb. And Lycanroc Midnight gets No Guard Stone Edge, and that's a stab Stone Edge at that with a really high base attack. And you can Scarf this thing, Stone Edge, over and over and over. I think it's like base 86 speed, which isn't horrible in that dex. It's not great, but it's not horrible, especially when it's scarfed. And it hit it a different speed tier that I needed to hit. You get Stone Edge, you get, I forget what else you get, but Stone Edge is basically the one you need to worry about, especially with no guard. That means you're not missing any Stone Edges. It's got a high crit ratio, and yeah, it's basically, if you're not prepared for Lycanroc to sweep your team with Stone Edge, it will do it. And finally, for our last round 11, we got Stoutland, and Stoutland is actually one of, I planned to take it a lot earlier, but I didn't see anybody planning on taking it, so I kind of saved it till last. And it gets Intimidate, it gets, what else does it get? I don't really remember, I just know it gets Intimidate. That was the main reason I picked it. I feel like Intimidate, oh, it gets Sand Rush. I think that's its other ability, which we probably won't be using. I don't see us picking up a Sand Setter anytime soon. But Choice Band, Intimidate, Stoutland, I feel like it's going to wreck through teams. We can use things like Retaliate as a revenge killer. It gets Return. I can't use Return this season, so Stoutland's Return is going to be insane. I'm sure it gets coverage moves like Earthquake. I know it gets Crunch, which is going to be really good. Overall, an Intimidate user was kind of the reason I got it. And I needed that normal type for ghost immunities. Normal types are just really good in Draft League because you kind of have to hit them with a fighting type move. And this actually, if you look at my team, I have one Pokemon of every type. All 17 types are accounted for on this team. So we have great coverage overall with the team. And Stoutland was also 6 points, and this actually gives me, I had another point left over. We didn't have to use all 110 of our points, but I did end up not having to use one of them, which means if I want to make a trade, I can trade a 5-point girder for a 6-point something else if I want to. So I have one more point to kind of play around with as the season progresses. This is actually my initial draft. We did have a grace period, but I did not use it. I was really happy with this initial draft. I feel like it's really good. We didn't have any PRs, so I don't know what other people think of the draft. I guess we'll have to see. My first game is probably going to go up next Thursday or Friday or Saturday. I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm going to do my posting schedule with this league yet, but there will be a game next Saturday. I'm trying to plan to play it next Wednesday sometime. That's usually when I play my Draft League matches. And I already know my opponent. I know the whole schedule. It is, I think it's 8 weeks long. If that's wrong, I'll update you on the next battle video. But with that, guys, that is our draft, and like I said, I'm really excited for this draft. But that is where I'm going to leave you. So if you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.